Right, so I've had to put the sticks up. They've been up a couple of days now, and the bowed Max hasn't been able to get in. And he hasn't tried to anyway, but we've kind of kept him away from the bed as much as possible. The sticks are after working down in the field anyway, so there's no reason why they shouldn't work here. So as you can see here, the second bed is done, roughly the same size. There'll be a small two-seater here, and then another large bed. So I've put heavy aggregate stone and rubble into the lowest point along here, because this is where it's going to drain out from, down this end. And then over the rubble I've put an old like t-shirt cloth, and you want to put that over the rubble so when the compost and the soil and everything gets watered and gets heavy, and it doesn't mesh in with the rubble and block up the holes that will be down there for drainage. So the compost and the manure and everything just sits on top of the old t-shirt, so it doesn't get mixed up with the rubble. And then all the soil has gone in, and then there's roughly about 3-4 bags then on top of this. But this whole area, all the soil and all the compost, the farmyard manure compost, has been blended with gravel and stone. You have to have the whole bed mixed from bottom to top if you want free draining, and I think that's going to help these plants to overwinter, that they're not going to be sitting in a sump, they're not going to be sitting in water. And what I hope to do is build up a large cloche when everything is cut down, build up a large cloche, put it down over the top, but I'll have vents for air. You need airflow. It's one thing I found out with the tunnel, that if you don't have airflow in the tunnel, your plants will rot, especially over the winter. So I've marked out areas with the gravel, because I'm going to mix in more gravel under the plants. So I'm going to put to the front, in the centre here, the velutina, and this again is supposed to be the hardiest of all the small bananas. And I think next to that in hardiness is the Musa Lasiocarpa. They're both Musa. Maybe there's something about the Musa bananas that they're hardy from where they come from. And in the middle I'm going to put the onset banana, and behind them the Canna Pretoria and Canna Durban. So they have the large green veined leaves, yellow veins, and these are the purple pink leaves, and they're very, very tall varieties as well. So and in the corner here to the front, either side of the velutina, I'm going to put the Jack's Giant. So that will be the foliage, and then between them I hope to put the flowers, some nice colours to make it more tropical. Right, so I've just remembered I have a single collocasia Jack's Giant down here in that pot there behind the dog. I'm going to use that one anyway in the raised bed, but look at how these leaves are turning out. They're really filling out. These are getting really big. These plants are doing really well. And here, they're under the canopy of Canadian maple. This the the common birch, silver birch. So it's kind of dapple shade, and it's not a wet bed at all. They're doing really well. Right, so I've been getting bark mulch down around these plants, and it's drying up now in the sun, but it's really well broken down. I think it won't take long before that actually starts to feed the soil as well. This is the colocasia I took up. Actually, a part of it snapped. It was actually really big underneath the soil, and another bit coming up here. It's a nice large one. Plenty of good roots on it. That should do well in the raised bed. So here's this corner jungle bed, and New Zealand flax, the phormiums. They all look healthy. They all look good. The only plant that I think might have went into shock was the Brassiops hispida. Now the soil is not dry. There is moisture in the bed over here, because it's fairly shaded, and any time it would have rained, the leaves above it and the canopy would have been dropping water as well. But there's new growth coming up through here, which is good. The stems are green, the stalk is solid, so it's not dropping the leaves, but I think it went into shock when it was transplanted. I probably might have done it a little bit early. The trachea there's the leaves on the Schefflera. They're bursting out into growth. The hostas are doing, I think they've kind of slowed up a bit because I haven't been soaking them. Grasses are coming along. They've kind of started to flesh out a bit. They're getting bigger. That's the rheum. That's after getting very big. Here's another Brassiops mitis, and that's got, I think the old leaves dropped as the new ones were coming out, so I wasn't worried about it, but they're really healthy looking, and there's more leaves coming out there. That one's just opened up, so that's doing really well. This is the little trachea of 3 different types in this bed, the trachees. This is the variegated. It's thrown out some new leaves, but the old stalks are still there. So I don't know whether to cut out the old stuff. That's the Orundodonax, the smaller variegated type. But bamboos are maybe a little bit shocked from being transferred. Doing okay. New leaves coming up out on the variegated Fatsia. Bamboo in the corner here, doing grand. This here Orundodonax. That's growing away nicely. This is an original climber. It's an evergreen climber. I'm not too sure what it is, but the leaves are lovely. Kind of a large, or a glossy leaf, but it gets fairly rampant when it gets going. So it's actually naturally starting to grab onto this. So I will be training this to climb in there. Oh fuck, it snapped. Now, the rest of the bark mulch that I have outside will be going down on this area here to prevent. I'm after going over it and giving it a good, using the hoe just to scrape out and dig out any of the weeds and stuff coming up. So this will all be bark mulched. Still plenty of light. The great thing about this canopy is if there's not enough, I can trim some of the lower leaves over here, or lower branches, to pull some more evening light through. For morning and midday, it's going to get plenty of sun. The new crosiers are opening up. So everything is, I need to give it a soak. Everything is doing well. Fingers crossed this just keeps going, gets stronger, its roots. So I need a lot of stuff to get strong before the winter. What I mean by strong is I'm not talking about lots of big leaves. I want to get its root system developed. So instead of the bog standard NPK feed, I'll be giving it potash feed for root development. So here's the first of the leaves of the Musa Lasiocarpa. See the red vein up the middle? Some stripes here, not very stripy. Maybe as the plant develops, we'll get more stripes. It's alive and kicking anyway. Right, so I have a couple of additions to the chicken pen. And it's not chickens. And I've bark mulched all the plants. But I've added Fatsia polycarpa green fingers in here on this path as you come in. And just down here I have picked up another Trachycarpus fortunei multi-stem. There's several stems, I think, with two main ones and a couple more. These, I'd say, are my favourite of the Fatsias. The foliage is lovely. This one is going to be in a fairly exposed area. I suppose in the evening time it'll get protection from this canopy here. We'll see how it gets on here anyway. So here's the second bed planted up. Canna Durban, Canna Pretoria, the onset banana. Colocasias on the left, on the right here, Jack's Giant, and Musa Valentina here. So here's one of the latest plants I'm after buying over in France, the Scheffler de la Veille, or de la Veille, and it's growing away in the pot, really healthy. But I was kind of under instructions on the delivery docket to keep it in the tunnel until the end of the month, so I'm going to keep it in the tunnel now. The temperatures will be a lot better for it, I suppose. When it goes out, it's not going to go into shock. But it was only the other day, and the Musa Lasiocarpa, and I was showing you I had cut it off, and already, I'd say, was it 24 hours? There's growth, which I'm delighted with, because I really like this banana. But I believe it takes a few years before you get the flower. I think they call it the lotus banana as well, or the lotus flower banana. But it's growing back already, just there. Nothing on this one yet, but I'd say it won't be long.